Welcome to AG's Ace. Let's pick up a topic called the Uniform Civil Code, or the UCC. It is a very tricky piece of legislation. It has been lying like a genie in the bottle for the last 70 years. There has been enough discussion why it should be implemented, but so far it has not been implemented. Now, for the first time, the BJP is making a major push to implement the UCC. So in this take, we go into reasons why it is trying to do, what will be the repercussions, do they anticipate a pushback, and let's not forget the BJP loves to prove to the Congress that what they could not do in their decades of governance, the BJP can and will do it. Article 370 has been done and dusted, and now the Ram Mandir has also been done and dusted. The third box which remains to be ticked is the UCC, and that is where we are going to concentrate today. So let's begin with the UCC being a pole plank of the BJP under Atal Bihari Vajpayee during the 1998 elections. He spoke quite a bit at that point in time, and it remained a very important pole plank. Since then, they have not been able to push on with it. I truly believe this is not going to be easy, and I'll give you the reasons why. First is the move to push UCC could trigger agitation. One should anticipate possible violence on the streets, social pushback, and vicious politicking. All of these are distinct possibilities, and the BJP very well knows it. Now, there are a couple of questions, the obvious and palpable questions, and I want to raise those questions. First is, why now? What exactly is the UCC? How does it impact the minorities? How does the UCC clash with personal laws? What are the benefits of implementing the UCC? And is it purely an election-driven agenda? These are very important questions. The moment we start answering those questions, you will get a crystal clear picture as to what is the intent behind it all. Now, for starters, the BJP included implementation of the UCC in the 2019 General Election Manifesto. And so the die has already been cast. So the first point is, what is the Uniform Code of Conduct? Now, the UCC, which comes under Article 44 of the Constitution of India, proposes to introduce personal laws that would apply to all citizens equally, irrespective of their religion, gender, caste, etc. So it will be, in simpler words, it will be one law for everyone, irrespective of religion, irrespective of anyone saying that they are from the minority, so their own laws apply. Nothing of that would then remain. Now, it also essentially refers to a common set of laws governing personal matters such as marriage, divorce, adoption, inheritance, and succession, and obviously religion plays a very important part. Now, the first opposition and one of the major opposition to this move has come from the All India Muslim Personal Law Board, and that has clearly said, and I quote, that it is an unconstitutional and anti-minorities move. Clearly, the Muslims are not going to bite easily. Politically, there have been some major tremors. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami said his government was preparing the first draft of a UCC to be implemented in the state. And they had already, by the way, said that if Dhami, if the BJP gets elected in Uttarakhand, this would be a major agenda. It will be implemented. So there again, they have to bite the bullet. Then Uttar Pradesh and Assam, they are jostling in the queue to figure out how to implement this. Other BJP states like Madhya Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh, they have shown intent, but they are slightly waiting back. They are leaning back to see the litmus paper test. And what is that litmus paper test? That is, the test lies in gauging how well UCC would be received by the people in UP and Uttarakhand. So they are basically hanging back. Now, I believe the BJP, whenever it makes such a move of this kind, it is willing to bear the brunt of minor electoral reverses, but it would not want to get sucked into an ugly vortex of prolonged agitation, violence, or religious obscurantism, which is definitely a possibility. Now, politically, the left liberals have jumped into it and are absolutely raving and ranting about this UCC, and someone like Sitaram Yechury says that this is absolutely geared to promote the Hindu agenda. The reason why the left liberals are speaking in this language is that they have their own minority pockets to protect, and they know that that is their electoral vote bank. Now, I want to take your attention to something called the Article 44 of the Directive Principles of the State Policy of the Constitution, where the framers wanted the states to make endeavors to implement it. Now, what does it say? It says, the state shall endeavor to secure for the citizens a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. However, since the article comes under the directive principles of state policy, they are regarded as guidelines and not mandatory. This is exactly where quite a few political parties and the legal luminaries they hit at this point, that this is supposed to be regarded as guidelines and not mandatory. So this is like keeping a little bit of the back door open or the window ajar. Now, at present, personal laws are largely governed by religion, and the personal laws are those that govern people based on their religion, caste, faith, and beliefs. These laws are made after due consideration of customs and religious texts, as you very well know. Now, the important point to remember here is these laws distinctly mention the rules pertaining to marriage, divorce, maintenance, adoption, co-parenting, inheritance, succession, the partition of family property, guardianship, wills, gifts, charitable donation, etc. So, it more or less covers the whole gamut of things that directly affect you as a human being. Personal laws for Hindus and Muslims are based on the religious texts and scriptures, and that is something that also needs to be spoken about. As per available information, Hindu personal law is based on ancient texts like Vedas, Smritis, and Upanishads, and modern concepts of justice, equality, etc. The Muslim personal law is primarily based on the Quran and Sunnah, and apart from Quran, that there is ijma and the learned Muslim jurists on legal issues, and the qiyas are also regarded as sources for Muslim personal law. So that shows that when you hop from one religion to another, there are different parameters setting the bar. Similarly, Christian personal law is based on scriptures, which are from the Bible, traditions, reasons, and experience. Now, if the UCC is introduced, it is going to annul all such codified laws and bring in a law, and listen to this carefully, it would bring in a law that would be common to all citizens. Moreover, personal laws, as per legal opinion, are often conflicting and contradictory and are not uniformly applied across courts and regions. The introduction of the UCC is being perceived as a balm for these problems. According to me, that is great on paper, but once you speak about implementation, it is going to be tricky, it is going to be difficult, and we have to accept that. Now, a very quick flashback to history reveals that the idea of UCC, it came from the British, because the British wanted the codification of various laws related to crime, contracts, and evidence, and they wanted to keep the personal laws of the Hindus and Muslims separate as part of their divide and rule policy. So it is a legacy of the Brits, because in their mind they thought that this was a perfect way to divide the Hindus and Muslims, and boy have they succeeded. We all know about the Shah Bano case verdict. Rajiv Gandhi has been criticized enough for it because he backed out at the nth hour, and what happened basically was that it highlighted the dominance of political populism over equality, human rights, and social justice. It basically meant that the progressive character of Muslim women and other sections of Muslim society, while highlighting their plight and challenging religious orthodoxy. When it came down to specifics of the Shah Bano verdict, it meant that the act stipulated maintenance to a divorced woman only during the period of iddat, or till 90 days after the divorce, according to the provisions of Islamic law. It was skewed justice. It has been talked about enough. I'll end this bit here, but I'll come back with a second part on UCC, because it is a difficult topic. It needs to be understood. It has very wider ramifications. And in the second part, I'll basically come on and speak on why there is so much opposition to a uniform law in India. Thanks for watching AG's.